Welcome to a podcast for new adventure seekers. Destination Downriver.
Welcome everyone to the March Destination Downriver podcast. I'm your host, Ron Hendricks. I'm also the president and CEO of the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, and we have a great podcast ahead of us with some outstanding guests. And today's topic is Destination Taylor. And folks, there's a lot happening in the city of Taylor. And I mentioned just a second ago that I'm the president of the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, and there's so much happening in this city that the Chamber's office is actually located right on North Line in the city of Taylor. Of course it would be, of course. So today's podcast is presented by Market Insights and also sponsored by our good friends, and I might say Chamber member as well, Allegra Marketing, Printing, and Design in Wyandotte. Greg Kowalski. Greg, if you're out there, a big shout out to you, and thank you so much for your support. Allegra is a strategic marketing and print communication company with measurable results. Let Allegra assist you with your print, mail, design, and signs. They're located at 3557 Fort Street in the beautiful city of Wyandotte. You can contact them at 734-288-8994, and definitely tell them that Destination Downriver brought you there. So today's guest lineup has us talking with two of Taylor's most informed and inspiring representatives, my friends Mayor Tim Woolley and Communications Director Carl Zymak. Mayor Woolley, Carl, how are you guys doing today? It's so great to see you.
Doing well, Ron. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Carl?
That was an impressive introduction. The mayor deserves all of that.
I have to tell you too, as we kind of do a little bit of joking in the beginning of the podcast, which is typical, I think, for any podcast, right?
Sure, absolutely.
We're actually on camera today as well because we're in the beautiful state-of-the-art Taylor Media Center, which is just an absolutely beautiful building and so much technology and really, as I mentioned, state-of-the-art. But we're on camera today, and today's the one day that I didn't wear a suit and a tie because I'm going to be out and about today. So it's like, I'm here with two very well-dressed
Hey, I didn't bring the tie.
Community leaders. But you guys look great. Hopefully I look okay, too, on camera as well. But it's great to see you both. And this year is the City of Taylor's 175th anniversary as a community. That's absolutely amazing. And I want to just mention, not as a city, but as a community. It was settled 175 years ago. And so I know you both were here for that ribbon cutting, correct?
Yeah.
But that's quite a milestone for the Taylor community, which has become the Downriver region's largest community. Taylor has been making positive gains and positive news for quite a while, but particularly this past year. There's lots going on and so much to talk about that we almost need a series of podcasts to cover everything. That's so true. The city has made international news with its Little League team notching a World Series championship, and along with Taylor's tremendous Sportsplex facility, they're able to spawn many opportunities and athletic advancements like the accomplishment of the renowned Bell Tire Hockey League and organization. Athletic achievements make possible in part by having this state-of-the-art complex, and we're going to talk about the Taylor Sportsplex here in a couple of minutes. One other sports fact is that the Junior League World Series, the older brother of the Little League World Series, involving 13 and 14-year-olds, has been hosted in Taylor since its inception. Since the Michigan Little League District 5 tournament champion is automatically qualified in the JLWS as the host team, it is very possible that Taylor's 2023 Little League World Series championship team could qualify for this year's JLWS, and wouldn't that be a fitting next chapter in the city of Taylor's sports legacy? So there's so much in what I just said, and we'll just maybe start off today's podcast with talking about the sports legacy and a lot of the things that are happening in the Taylor community with sports. And I mentioned just a moment ago, really Taylor is the headquarters of the Bell Tire Hockey League. And you know, that's a prestigious and a very elite league that brings in a lot of different people from, I think, probably from around the state. Is that correct, Carl?
Yeah, to be honest with you, from around the country. Okay, the Belle Tire is an elite level organization. I mean, when you look at some of the top draft picks, whether it's Dylan Larkin, whether it's the Hughes brothers, whatever, they all came through that level of hockey. Okay, and in fact, Larkin played for Belle Tire. You know, you're going to get at that level of play, they're going to be able to attract nationally. So like Heidi Klum, the supermodel for Sports Illustrated and others, her son, they live out in Colorado. Her son, they fly him in, or they were, okay, at one time.
Elle McPherson you're thinking of.
Was it Elle McPherson?
Yeah.
I thought it was Heidi Klum.
No, it was.
See, I get them all mixed up.
Both.
We can get old like I am.
Yeah.
The other beautiful woman. It was Elle McPherson,
Yeah,
you're correct.
yeah, because
Okay.
I remember when Jeff Dobek was here, he said, "Hey, Tim, do you remember Elle McPherson?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember Elle." You know, and they used to fly in just to play hockey here.
That's amazing. So it's a tremendous league, and there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of the economic development impact that the Belle Tire Hockey League has, and definitely the impact on supporting our small businesses and other organizations in this region. So having this community like Taylor host such an elite organization is phenomenal. But the other league that's really made the news a lot lately is the Junior League World Series League, and that's another long time tradition for the city of Taylor. And this past year, the city of Taylor team was the World Series champion. Right. So can you talk a little bit about? I know we could probably spend hours talking about the team itself. But what does it mean as Mayor Woolley, the leader of a community, to have the World Series champion based here in Taylor, and then what kind of impact does that have on a community?
I think because I coached for many years, went through that process. Me and Lanny Hall coached and won a state championship and went to the regionals. But we didn't make it out of regionals. So to just even trying to comprehend that the city of Taylor won a Little League World Series is just unbelievable. I don't know if people realize that that's such a feat, and we're so proud of them. It's unbelievable. One of their coaches works for the city of Taylor. Guido Euland is our Parks and Rec director. But I mean, just to see the city rally around them, and I can tell you that I was up in the UP when they were in Williamsport.
Oh, wow.
And of course I was sporting my Taylor North, shirt, and literally people from all over were stopping me and saying, "Hey, isn't that the team that's in the Little League World Series?" And they were from Wisconsin, New York. Yeah. They had a fan base throughout the United States. I had Army buddies that was supporting them, Arizona and Texas and stuff. So it's just humongous. It's I'm still in shock by it, and it's such a great thing, and those kids are such great kids, well-rounded, the attention they've got, and they've done nothing but made our city look even that much better. Even during play, when they went over and shook hands and the way they conducted themselves, it's just, I'm so proud of them as a resident, not just as the mayor. A former coach, they made everybody so proud, and we're still beaming from that,
I bet. I mean, that's something that we're, as a region, and not naming just Taylor, but all 18 communities in Downriver, I think are going to be celebrating for years to come.
And some of those kids live, in other cities, based on what school they go to, enables them to play in the league. So this is definitely a Taylor thing, Downriver thing, Michigan thing, and it became a U.S. thing because they had fans all over the country.
Yep, and before we move on to the next topic, and maybe Carl, you can touch on this. I will tell you that Dave Gorgon and a lot of other leaders in the community really have a big role in the Little League World Series championship every year, and we as a chamber, we 100% support the Junior League World Series. It has a tremendous impact on our membership, our local business community, our nonprofits. And we encourage our members every year to put signage out welcoming the families, welcoming the players, and encouraging them to come stop and visit local restaurants and local retail shops and businesses. Can you talk for just a minute about maybe how did the World Series eventually, how did it get to Taylor? Why is it held in Taylor? And then what kind of impact does it have on the community overall every year?
If you're talking about the Junior League World Series, I think it was 81?
Yeah, 81.
Yeah, when it came out in 81, Greg Bazura, who is, started the Junior League World Series here in Taylor. I can tell you back in the day, we used to house kids. My family everybody in the area would, back then you would sponsor kids and they would come, a couple kids would stay at your house. So that was a really great thing because I still, I can go on another story about that, but it's really seemed, and then they started bringing in more international teams over the years, and it's really turned into a great thing. And in August of each year, I can tell you all the residents, everybody in the area really look forward to it. And again, we get people from all over the country that comes to, that's global. We get people from China, we get people from South America, the Caribbean, just to name a few. And it's great. It's great for the economy. It's great. A lot of businesses do rally around that, but it brings people. A lot of people just enjoy coming here to watch Little League baseball, and that is at the Little League World Series. It's Little League. Once they get to the Junior League, that is real baseball. That's when you can pick off, you can steal, and all that stuff. So that's when you watch Major League Baseball at 13. That's when kids start playing real baseball, basically.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We're going to move on to another topic, and as I mentioned earlier, there's so much happening in Taylor, and we can spend so much time on each topic, but I better be careful to manage our time appropriately. But yet another example of what's been happening here in Taylor is that we're coming to you from, as I mentioned earlier, the City of Taylor's state-of-the-art media center. This is quite an impressive facility for doing everything like today's broadcast, of course, to producing specialty shows and events worthy of network productions. We should spend a bit of our time today talking about your media center. And Carl, I'm going to ask you to speak on this in a moment, and what the future holds in terms of possibilities and how the project was completed and funded. So I think that, and I know a little bit of the story about how this beautiful facility came about. But if you think about what this building was, it was a vacant court building for many, many years. And then the City of Taylor was able to come together, I think, in a dynamic way and bring the community together to fund this beautiful arts or media center in the City of Taylor that's probably open to the community and nonprofits and others. But Carl, can you talk a little bit about, share that story, because I know it's such a unique story. How did this happen?
Well, I think when it comes right down to it, the old court building, which was this building, was replaced by our new beautiful court building, which is right next door. Probably well over 15 years ago, right? Probably more toward 20. And this building essentially fell into disrepair. It turned into a place where it was almost like a warehousing unit. Okay, you couldn't notice it from the outside. It looked fairly good from the outside. But right in the middle of a very vibrant, very modernized City Hall campus, you had a facility that was basically really bad. Okay, I mean, when you came in here 2 years ago, even the concrete floors were ripped apart, and things were pulled out of the, pipes were pulled out and everything else. The roof leaked, everything. Okay, so the idea was to take what's called PEG fees, programming, educational, and governmental fees, that the cablecasters, your cablecast here, we have WOW and Comcast, involved. They can take a portion of their fee base and rotate it back to the municipality that they're involved with for things like this: camera improvements, production improvements, building type of things that would lend to their type of production. Okay, so by building a fairly large 3-studio print, within the old court building, we were then able, and the real hidden success story here isn't just the studios, By putting this fairly large 3-studio print here, we were able to move the Veterans Museum, which was in a little cubbyhole off of the atrium in City Hall, into it stretches down the eastern side, the western side of this building, okay? And it's got a door wall that looks directly out into the plaza, which is beautiful, which is all the monuments and everything else. It's now 5, 6, 7 times as large as it used to be.
That's beautiful.
We also have 2 huge storage units in the back here. One that is secured for our clerk's office, holds all of our voting machines. They can run elections out of here. And the other for all other departments, okay, that is very well organized with shelving, big shelving units from the floor to the ceiling. And that's run by our building and grounds department. So by putting all of those elements together, by building the studio print out, the PEG funds supported the bonds, which supported the rest of the building, which enabled us to do these type of things. So it was a success.
It's a huge success. And I remember the first time I came here, Carl, you and I had recorded a show maybe 7 months ago, and but the first time I came here, I looked around and I saw the Veterans Museum. I saw the different recording studios, and of course we're sitting in a beautiful studio today. This truly is state of the art. I mean, this is comparable to your Channel 4, your Channel 2, your big TV studios. And for those who are listening today who may not be familiar with the Taylor City Hall campus, could you maybe give us a picture of where we're located, where this media center is located?
Well, we are literally right in the middle. We're the closest building to Goddard Road, okay? And on the far east side of the campus is the municipal building, City Hall. Then comes the police department, which is pushed back behind Preby Plaza. We jut out back toward Goddard Road, right in the middle. Then you go back to the large courthouse that you cannot miss, okay? And then our biggest fire station, Station 1 here in the Midtown area, is right to the far eastern side of the campus. So we have a literally, about a 2 or 3 block area here, 4 block area?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, that with all the parking and everything else that is housed right here.
What are some of the future plans for this center?
Well, I think what we really want to do is communicate with our populace more than anything, okay? But on top of that, we are working on a fee schedule that would enable us to rent this facility out to both still and to video photography and podcasting and things like that. We've got some work to do with that because we're not, government is not a private
company.
it's not a production company. It's not a realtor, it's not a production company, it's not a car maker, it's government, but we have the ability now to do those type of things, and we think we'll have it'll also be helpful to our civic organizations where we can help them along the route. So it's development in progress.
It is, and it's such a great development that's in progress, as you say. But it's just a beautiful development overall. So as I mentioned earlier, we are in the community's 175th year, and there's a lot going on, especially now as we're going into spring and getting prepared for summer. So I think we're going to do maybe a rapid fire session. We're going to just throw out a bunch of topics to you, and I'm going to ask you to comment on those, if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
So one of the things that's coming up is the Taylor Summer Festival, which again is a big tradition in the Taylor, and I'll say the entire Downriver community. Everybody loves the Taylor Summer Festival. So when is that taking place? What are some of the things that might be happening at the Summer Festival this year?
So it's the weekend of the 25th, 26th, 27th of June.
23rd, 24th, 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
23rd, 24th, and 25th of June.
And 26th we have
Yes.
Sunday.
There we go.
We're going to get this straight.
Yeah, we'll send you to a website.
Last week of June.
Last week of June.
Friday night is our first concert night. That night will be what we're calling Rock Night. That is Stephen Piercy, the singer of Rat.
Oh, wow.
Anybody remembers Rat from back in the 80s and 90s? I saw him in concert probably in the mid 80s. So I'm looking forward to that show. And Slaughter's going to be opening up for them, another 80s hair band, so to speak. They got a couple of hit songs as well. Then on going into Saturday night, which is also our fireworks night, the 26th is going to be country night.
Great.
Dylan Scott is our main act that night, and then we also have the Cody Boggs Band and the Family Tradition Band.
Family Tradition
Band is going to be opening up for Dylan Scott.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm not a big country music person, but I'm looking forward to it, and we got a lot of great feedback on both nights of music. So we're pretty excited for that, and of course, I think we always put on a great fireworks show, and we're looking to do just the same as usual, another great show for the residents of the city of Taylor. Plus, the carnival will be going on, I think, starting on Thursday.
Yes.
And so that's always pretty popular as well. We have it really well maintained. We have it fenced off, to where, safety is a concern, and, people can't loiter and hang around and stuff. So people are really happy about that, and they like it. And so,
can you get more information at the city's website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is the website, Carl?
Website is, you can go directly, if you want to go for the festival, you can go directly to taylorfestival.com, and it will URL you in. Otherwise, cityoftaylor.com, for everything Taylor-centric.
Okay.
A couple things that should be mentioned. Recoil Firearms is our fireworks sponsor. They've been, is this second year in a row?
Either second or third.
Yeah, and they've been a great partner for us. And Meyer has come back to the Trenton Summer Festival. They're sponsoring all 4 days of the carnival. So
for the Taylor.
And you can, and I guarantee you that Friday night, if you're out there and you want to see the rock bands, Tim is our expert on 80s hair bands, So he's seen Stephen Pearcy, he's seen Rad, he's seen Slaughter, and he guarantees they will be good.
Right. So, I was going to say, I don't know if you noticed, but all the younger generations seem to be wearing the 80s style clothing again.
My son is 27, and he's into the 80s rock. He's even into 70s rock and stuff.
So that's probably going to be the biggest night of the festival. Everybody loves the 80s again.
I think it's definitely, 80s bands seem to do well. I was kind of, over the years, I think Loverboy has probably been our biggest one so far.
Right.
Wow.
But it was, I think everybody likes that nostalgia, and of course, if they can still deliver, that people enjoy. I love live music, so I'm looking forward to it.
And it's interesting because when you juxtapose what we're doing on Friday with what we're doing on Saturday, last year we brought in Low Cash, a really high energy duo, and Chris Bandy led off for that, and Chris Bandy was one of those up and comers. He was spectacular.
He was
crossover
really
guy, sang Seeger. We talked about that.
He mixed in country and rock, even in the same song, to where I even went, "Who is this guy?" And
when you look at Dylan Scott coming in, Dylan Scott is one of those guys who has come up and coming. Total heartthrob on the ladies' side. They swoon over him.
A lot of women.
So exactly.
They were all happy.
Exactly.
So the Summer Festival, I assume, is taking place at Heritage Park.
Yes, correct.
So let's talk about Heritage Park for a minute, because that's absolutely one of the most premier recreation destinations, not just in Downriver, but throughout the entire Southeast Michigan region. And at Heritage Park is Downriver's only petting farm. So tell us a little bit about the petting farm. How can people learn more about the petting farm? What kind of things could they do? How do you access the petting farm?
Well, during they run two different schedules. One during the summertime, and usually it's basically business hours from Tuesdays through Sundays. They take Mondays off to kind of recycle the animals and all that stuff, and that's pretty much a general fee of $3 for residents and $4 for non.
Oh wow, that's great! It's like a donation for upkeep of the farm, probably.
Bingo, exactly. It's
pays
cheap
for the food and
Now they run a lot of special events. We've got a bunny bash coming up, wild weekends. These are all Saturday, Sunday events.
Reindeer days during the winter.
And these are all $5.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. In the wintertime, they run a limited schedule of weekends. Fridays through Sundays. They run a lot of school tours through there. It's a great place for the family. You've got about, I believe Sam will call me out on this in our production room because she's worked at the petting farm a lot. I think we've got about 75, 76 animals there.
Oh, wow.
Various varieties. If you go there, she's giving me the thumbs up. If you go there if you go there and look up Melanie, who runs the farm, and ask her to go out to the animals, she's like the Pied Piper of the animals.
She's the animal whisperer.
She walks out there and goes, come here, and they all come to her.
That's amazing.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's like a Disney movie.
Yeah,
and we do.
Yes.
We offer birthday parties and stuff there as well, and those seem to be very really popular and stuff.
Right
so.
here in the city of Taylor.
Right here in the city of Taylor.
Yeah.
That's great. And then the other premier program that I think a lot of people that I interact with are very familiar with, Taylor Golf. You have 2 state-of-the-art golf courses. I know there's a phenomenal restaurant that I have lunch at often. I think we had lunch together, Mayor Woolley and Jim Perry of the DCC not too long ago at Lakes of Taylor. Great practice ranges. So tell us a little bit about our 2 golf courses here in the city of Taylor, and then the overall Taylor Golf.
Yeah, we have Taylor Meadows and we have Lakes of Taylor. Lakes of Taylor wins all kinds of awards on a regular basis. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And like you said, the restaurant there is a beautiful, even if you don't golf, to just go up there and sit in that restaurant with the view, it's beautiful. And that's what we enjoy doing, and I do golf. I'm more of a Taylor Meadows golfer because my skill level might not be as well. I play a lot of scrambles over at Lakes of Taylor. So
Lakes
at least
of Taylor is a challenging course.
Very challenging.
It really
is.
It
is. Not, it's definitely not. It's in that moderate to advanced. But it's beautiful, and I think it's it's a little tighter. Meadows is a lot more open, which is what I need because my ball doesn't always go where I want it to go. So, but I really enjoy Taylor Meadows too. I think it's a beautiful golf course. It's not. I think it's good for the average player. And it's well ran, it's well maintained, and then the Lakes is it's a step above, so to speak, as far as challenging, but it's so beautiful. We win awards regularly for that golf course. I think we've won best Downriver golf course the last few years, and
it's a municipal golf course that is absolutely comparable to a country club. And I know businesses that have their outings there, or a nonprofit. A lot of nonprofits that are members of the chamber do their outings there. I'm sure there's golf leagues.
Yeah, and we're definitely trying to. I think we're filling up on golf leagues if we haven't, because a lot of golf courses are starting to close, and that's benefiting us. I mean, it is. Golf is a challenging situation right now financially. So we're always looking at ways we can improve. Getting people like Taylor Meadows off. They also offer food, and they got a nice little pro shop in there. That's where we're currently running our TrackMan, which is very popular. We run that in our winter months at Taylor Meadows, and that's the computer simulated golf, which is really popular in the winter months. But we did actually open up. We opened up last week, which is a little earlier than normal. But our golf course management, believes that we're not affecting the course by opening it too early. And we had a real successful weekend last weekend, which was nice because I forgot they opened. I rode by and I couldn't. I'm like, what's going on over there? The parking lot at Lakes of Taylor was completely packed. So that was a good sign.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And it's definitely a sign that things are really happening here in the city of Taylor and the Downriver community. I want to talk briefly because I think this is a really important topic, especially coming from the Chamber of Commerce. We're always focused on economic development, of course, and there's a lot happening along the Eureka Road corridor. Can you tell us a little bit about the Eureka Road corridor project? And I think also something that's really exciting for Destination Downriver is I believe there's an improvement of the walkway that's along the creek. So what can you tell us about that project?
Jim, you want to start?
Yeah, no, actually, I got a refresh, or I got brought up to speed last week. So the Eureka Way Corridor is still ongoing. There's a lot of delays in permitting and all that stuff, but basically they're going to enclose that drain on the north side of Eureka between Telegraph and Party, basically in front of Myers. And then further down, they're going to beautify that drain more. They're going to fix up the sidewalk, put in kind of like a boardwalk technique somewhere in part of that.
That's exciting.
Excuse me, and that's going to go all the way down to Eureka Road, basically. So there's a lot of things going on.
And Gardner White just moved in.
Gardner White just moved into the old to their old competitors' building. So
former art building.
So it's there's a lot of good things. There is something that I can't discuss yet, but there's another a big thing possibly happening on Eureka Road
So
right
this
now.
is the perfect opportunity for you to break that
No,
news right here on the
unfortunately, I can't.
Destination
Until
Downriver podcast.
you know what? Until plans are submitted, I don't like to do that because a lot of times people will say, "Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this,"
Yeah.
and then you never hear from them again.
Oh,
so
sure.
I always
Yeah.
wait until plans are submitted because that means they're pretty much ready to roll.
Absolutely. And I said Eureka Road, which is incorrect. Actually, the district is called Eureka Way.
Yeah, it's still Eureka
Yeah.
Road, but
Right,
that
but it's
corridor, the Eureka Way Corridor.
Yeah,
correct,
which is really cool because there's so much in terms of business development along the Eureka Way in that corridor. Carl, would you like to add to that?
Well, yeah, when you look at that, and to be honest with you, the mayor filled me in on what's projected out, and that will knock your socks off when we make that announcement.
Well, go ahead, Carl. You have a mic.
But you know what, Ron? We're not. But we will eventually.
We will let you know.
I'll be the first to know, right?
Sure.
Okay.
when you look at that district, okay, you've got Telegraph crossing through there, you've got I-75 crossing through there.
Yes.
Then the rest of Downriver opens up, okay, essentially in that district. You're looking at, I think we've moved so fast that we forget about things that are obvious. Okay, Cinemark went in. Okay, that is a fabulous facility.
I love that
You've got two different versions of BJ's, okay, essentially. You've got the restaurant, which everybody loves, okay, in the outlot.
Yes.
Then across the way, adjacent in Traders Point, okay, which used to be the old Gibraltar Trade Center,
Yep.
you've got BJ's Wholesale Warehouse, and you've got Menards in there, and that has the ability to be built out right on the 75 Eureka Crossing. I mean, this is golden.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's a podcast in itself.
Right.
It's that whole
Exactly.
new development.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you look around, okay, the God, and this is terrible. I'm drawing a blank. The barbecue place that's been on Eureka toward Telegraph. What's that?
You got Bubba's?
Not Bubba's, but no, down toward Telegraph.
Famous Dave's.
Famous Dave's.
Yes.
That is
should know.
the top ranked Famous Dave's. At least it was as of like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Top ranked
Yes.
Famous Dave's everywhere.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
in
and now you have Bubba's 33.
You've
and
got
Texas
Bubba's
Roadhouse
33,
Forest has been
tremendous
there.
little place,
Yeah.
Bubba's 33.
Yeah, and the owners of Bubba's 33 are just phenomenal community
Absolutely.
supporters.
Absolutely.
They're everywhere. They support every nonprofit.
they do.
It's amazing, and that's your typical Downriver entrepreneur.
And Texas Roadhouse
And
as
Texas
well.
Roadhouse.
Texas
they're-
Roadhouse.
You know what? They're sister companies because
Yes.
my daughter used to work for Texas Roadhouse,
Yeah.
and I didn't know, but
And talk
Bubba's
about-
is a sister company.
And talk about reliable. I mean,
Yes.
those are go-to
Yes.
places.
Oh,
Great
sure.
People who
community.
eat at
Oh,
those
yeah.
places swear
Oh,
by
yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
we've got a new spot going in, Kudos Fieldhouse,
Yes.
okay, which
Yeah.
is
The old
right
Gander
off
Mountain.
of the Southland Mall property
Yep.
on Pardee. And that's going to be, one of those family entertainment, axe throwing, all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
That's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
They're moving quickly there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it really, there's so much happening
Oh, yeah.
in the Taylor community, in the Downriver region. It truly is amazing. So another event coming in the city of Taylor this summer is the Telegraph Cruise happening in July. And that, again, is a long time running event that has, I think, a big impact, economic impact on our community. So Carl and Mayor Woolley, could you talk a little bit about the Telegraph Cruise? When is that taking place, and what should we expect this year?
Well, I'll lead it off with some of the specifics. It'll be July the 25th, a Saturday. It's always the fourth Saturday in July, always. Okay. It runs Saturday from 9 to 9. Now there's unofficially cruisers are out on Friday night, just like the 4th Street Cruise happens.
Sure.
But 9 to 9 on that Saturday. Okay. It runs from Redford on the north, around Puritan, all the way down to Eureka on the south.
Wow, that's a
here
great
in Taylor.
cruise. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we really enjoy it, and we welcome everyone, but we just we preach safety.
Absolutely.
People need to be safe. They need to follow the law. That's the
Yes.
biggest thing. Unfortunately, I had a close friend lose his life a couple of years ago because somebody decided to do a burnout in a parking lot and he got hit. So we just really want to preach safety. Don't drink and drive. be responsible, clean your mess up, and you know, for the most part, the weekend goes pretty good. You know, you still have a few people that, you know, don't want to necessarily follow the law. We do have our police out there, but you know, again, I think it's a good thing for the community. We welcome it. I don't own one, but I like to see the old cars and stuff. But it just safety, and please follow the law.
Yeah, and the other part of that as well, along with being safe, is you know, supporting our local businesses.
Sure, absolutely.
And so we want to preach also that you want to make sure to stop and have, you know, a meal at a local Taylor restaurant along Telegraph, or visit a retail shop.
Right.
And there's so many amazing businesses along the cruise, you know, pathway there, and then also going off the cruise. If you go down Goddard or you know, Van Born or Eureka Way or one of the other major roadways, you can find some other great businesses to support as well.
I think we have two official sites. I know Big Boys has like a car club, or you know, they always. I think it's Friday nights or something, and then we also have over at Pardee in Northline, that 7-Eleven, I know it's one day a week. I couldn't tell you what it is, but there's usually some pretty nice cars parked out there, you know, and they're beautiful pieces of art, you know. They're
Absolutely.
You know, these people take pride in those cars, and they're beautiful, and it's nice to see them, you know, and you know, like I said, it's kind of a nice, you know, it's a nice thing. I enjoy it, and you know, I live right by a pretty popular lot that, you know, people tend to frequent, you know, so that's why I always say, just pick up your trash and follow the law and be safe. You know?
I think if people are visiting, the one thing that I know, doing a lot of photography for the city and things like that, what I've fallen into and what works really well is if you're patient and you come to the cruise during the day, when it's not really wild at night, and you just go from site to site, up and down Taylor, you know, you're going to find stuff all over the place. At Gilead Baptist Church, there's a certain number of cars that park there every year that are just dream cars. At the Motown Harley Davidson, they're usually running something special. Many of the taverns and restaurants have some specials and things going on. Biggest thing is control yourself. Be respectful of what's going on. This isn't about racing. It's not about burnouts. And and the biggest thing there is safety. We don't want people harmed, because people are going to get close to the cruise area because they want to see the cars. You know?
So we just want everyone to come out and enjoy a beautiful city of Taylor summer day and enjoy the cruise.
Dates again. Dates again would be July, or the date, July the 25th, the Saturday. It's from 9 to 9 that day. It opens early in the morning, even on the previous night, and then about 10 o'clock, the police will roll down and they'll close the whole course off officially. They'll clear everybody out, and that'll be the end of it. But
great.
But that's the time to go to your restaurant or tavern and have a good time.
Sounds like a blast.
It does. It does.
And finally, as I know we're running out of time, and you mentioned your producer's giving you the thumbs up. Our producer's giving me the thumbs down because I'm spending so much time. But there's so much to talk about.
Move along.
The famous move along.
But finally, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, it is Taylor's 175th anniversary as a community, which is another podcast again in itself. There's so much to talk about there. But tell us what special events and perhaps are there any recognition ceremonies, things like that might be planned to celebrate that 175th anniversary this year?
Go ahead.
Okay, we've been meeting with the Taylor Historical Society. They've been doing a tremendous amount of work. I ought to give a shout out to them, the ladies and gentlemen of that society. They've had some turnover over there. They've been really working it, and they don't have everything down, but I know they've been contributing a regular piece to the Taylor Today magazine, talking about what it was like to settle in Taylor in the 1840s and what they faced back then. Very flat area that was prone to extreme flooding and things like that.
Right.
Tremendous amount of farms and things. But what they're doing is they're building toward a Saturday, August the 6th. get together to celebrate the anniversary. It'll be around Cone Lake in the historic area of Heritage Park.
Heritage Park,
We'll have all those historical buildings open. There'll be displays. We're sending out invitations to former Taylor leaders and department heads and things. Maybe some of them will be speaking on different things. Okay, it'd be wonderful to hear somebody like Jim Boardman, the DPW director from decades ago, talk about how they built it. How they built this city from scratch. Okay,
right.
And people like maybe Kim Preby and
Former
others,
mayors, former
mayors,
electeds,
and hopefully we'll be able to lure a lot of people to that, and it'll be a nice relaxing day around Cone Lake, which is a very scenic and wonderful.
I was going to say Cone Lake is another amazing treasure in the city as well. That's another podcast. So many podcasts we can have about Taylor, but Cone Lake is beautiful. And just a couple of years ago, we featured an aerial photo of Cone Lake on the Chamber's Downriver Regional Directory and Community Guide. So, Mayor, I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say that with the anniversary, they're also, like, I know right now they're trying to find out who's the oldest business that's still running.
Wow.
They're looking for the oldest resident, and like Carl said, they're going to have kind of some setups, and it sounds pretty cool. We're pretty excited about it, and I think that's going to be a great weekend. And the Historical Society, they've been really good and really.
We're also
diligent.
renovating a couple of those buildings.
Yes. We're in the process. The trains, the caboose and the train car. We're in the process of restoring those to their proper, as much as possible. We brought in a professional to kind of tell the people that are doing the work how to do it properly. So
that's great.
It's a lot of people enjoy those, and it was tough because we were in a situation where we almost had to make a decision to get rid of them, and finally we found people that could do it.
That's great.
And we're rebuilding Westmount Church after that
Yes.
fight.
Yeah, they're making great progress. I was over there yesterday, and they're making great progress.
Yeah, as I mentioned, there's so much we can talk about, and we can go on and on because Taylor is such an amazing community, so much taking place. And there's a lot of economic development and business development in both ends, north end and the south end of the community that we can talk about. And so we will have another podcast. We'll do another show, and I think we can probably have several more shows. But we'll wrap up today's podcast. Again, my guests have been Taylor Mayor Tim Woolley and the Public or Communications Director, Carl Zymak, who's somebody that I've had the wonderful opportunity to work for many years. And Mayor Woolley's been a phenomenal mayor. You've been on, how long have you been on board now?
I think it's been about 4 or 5 months now. Right?
4 or 5 months.
Since November.
And prior to that, on City Council.
Yes, I was on council for 8 years. I was the council chairman for 3 of those. And, so it's... Now
that you've been going through budget hearings for the last month,
I've been going through budgets. I've been very busy. So if I look a little tired, I apologize. But it's definitely we're finally getting down to the final stretch though. So which is good. And again, I appreciate you having us, and we're always happy to. And we're glad you were able to use and you like our facility.
Absolutely. And thanks, Carl, Mayor Woolley. We appreciate you being on the podcast today. And we didn't get a whole lot of time to talk about you individually because we were so excited about the topics, but we'll have to do that next time. So again, my name is Ron Hendricks. I have been your host of the Destination Downriver podcast. I want to thank you for listening today, and I also want to thank our presenting sponsor, Market Insights, Kathy Kane, who's our phenomenal producer, along with Rich Williams here of the Destination Downriver podcast, and also today's podcast sponsor, Allegra. And again, a big shout out to my friend Greg Kowalski in Wyandotte, Allegra of Wyandotte. Thank you for making today's podcast possible. And I want to ask you to visit Destination Downriver's website, which is www.destinationdownriver.com. You can also find us on Facebook. And by the way, we just launched an amazing brand new website at destinationdownriver.com that you have to check out. So stay tuned for announcements about next month's podcast. We're going to be in another amazing Downriver community, the city of River Rouge. And we're going to be talking about Downriver's primetime fishing season with the Walleye Run coming up. Also, there's an amazing lighthouse there, the Michigan Mariners Memorial Lighthouse. So there's a lot coming up in next month's podcast, and I want to invite you to join us for that podcast as well. Again, thank you so much, Allegra Printing and Marketing in Wyandotte. And I have been your host, Ron Henricks, and we really enjoyed having you today. We'll see you next month on the Destination Downriver podcast.